Hey guys, welcome back to our monthly energy report. So today we are bringing you your favorite, the energy update for the month of February. I'm Peyton and I'm joined once again by Corey and Yaila. And if y'all have tuned into our energy reports in the past, you know that we like to read the energy for the upcoming month from 3 different unique angles. So we're going to do that again today, bringing you the astrology report by Corey, the collective energy reading with Yaila, and I'm going to share the message that the Pleiadians had for us to prepare us for February. So we never start with you, Corey. So why don't we let you kick us off and tell us what the February astrology looks like?
Oh, thank you, Peyton. All righty. So here is the astrology for February 2023. So the theme of February is picking up the pace. We're picking up the pace, and March actually is going to be a huge month, and February is the setup really for March. So we have, as I always say, that the first half of February, we will be in Aquarius season, which is Aquarius rules technology, aliens, ETs, astrology, the future, freedom. And it also is an air sign. So it is the mind. Think, 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 think. However, Aquarius is that innovative thinking. So first half, we are in Aquarius season. In the second half, we're going to be in Pisces season. So the sun goes into Pisces on February 18th. And Pisces is a water sign. And it is dreamy and delusional and magical and escape artist. So those are kind of we'll have the two themes in February. All righty. So on the 5th, we have a full moon in Leo, and that's a fire sign. And it's at now, and this is what's important, is it's at 16 degrees. So we have I believe it's 5. It's either 5 or 7. I can't remember. Five or 7 full moons at 16 degrees in a row. And when we look at the tarot cards, the 16th card is the Tower card. So February is like a Tower card month. Again, we are moving into the Aquarian age. And so all the top-down structures are being torn down so that we can move into that Aquarian age of freedom, innovation, humanitarian, community, lifestyle. All right. So the full moon in Leo on February 5th, that fire sign, it's a sign of leadership, love. Leo rules the heart. So we're being invited to move into our heart. We have the frequencies of the planet that are rising. We have a lot of solar flares coming in. And so the frequency of Mother Earth is rising. And all of our bodies are changing. So if you feel like you've had some, physical symptoms, aches, pains, there's been a lot of emotions. We're clearing a lot of old beliefs. And that's due to the frequency of the planet raising. So this full moon in Leo is inviting us to move from our heads to our hearts. Because in the higher frequency realms, everybody lives their life through the heart instead of their minds. The mind is the ego, The heart is pure love. So this full moon in Leo is, it's also, it also, Leo is the showman, the person on stage that, is helpful to others, is creative. So this full moon in Leo is going to be very strong. It is very strong because we have some other aspects with this full moon, and I'll get into that with another video. We have also too is that one of the aspects that is with this full moon in Leo is Uranus, and Uranus rules electricity and earthquakes, eruptions, but it's also an awakening, power outages. So that is with this full moon, one of the aspects. And so that's why it's going to be really strong. All right. And then we have Mercury, which is moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. And this is a little touch of what it's going to be like in the Aquarian age. The Mercury is the mind. Aquarius is that innovative thinking. So we will get a sample of what that's going to be like, which will be absolutely wonderful. And then, of course, the sun does move into Pisces on the 18th. Venus moves into Aries on the 19th. And Venus is the love planet. So new love, or maybe, it's a fire sign, Aries. So maybe, even a romance that you're already in could get a little pep up. And also too, on the 19th is a new moon in Pisces. And it's at 0 degrees, which means it's at the beginning of the sign. So we are going to have that wonderful, dreamy, with the Venus and the new moon. It can be just dreamy. This is where a lot of twin flame stuff comes in. So it's, February is this kind of setup for March. We are also in the later degrees of the planet Pluto, which is power, hidden secrets, in the last degrees. And as the degrees get further on, they get stronger and stronger. And it's in the later degrees of Capricorn. So Capricorn rules top-down structures. So government, schools, all those structures of the higher up, so to speak. And all those are being taken down. Saturn is that restrictor. And so we're in the later degrees of it. So it's really strong. So we will see a lot of things coming out in February. A lot of news of things that, the hidden secrets coming out. It'll be very interesting how that plays out. And because we're going to be moving, so Pisces will be, not Pisces, Pluto will be moving into Aquarius for a short, brief time in March. And that planetary, that's an outer planet. So that is a 20-year cycle. So we've been, Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. So it is a long-term energy that we will be moving into. We have a lot of change in 2023. And February, we're going to start, we're still going to feel it, but not see it as much. But March, when we get into March, we're going to see the beginnings of the changes. And this is what we've all been talking about for quite some time. Anybody in the spiritual community, whether it's astrology or the Pleiades or, energy work, we've all been talking about this for a very long time, and it's here. So February, it's like, where is it? Hey, I thought that, the changes are happening, but March is when we'll really, really see it. And as I've said before in last several videos, is that we are at this choice point. So whatever you put your energy into, or whatever energy you put out, is what you will get back. So we have that choice of being in fear, is the glass half empty, or in love, the glass half full. If we stay in that love frequency, which is why our planet is raising, that frequency of the planet is, if we stay in that love, you know, this transition that we're going to, which there's no way of stopping it. If we stay in that love frequency, the transition will be a lot smoother. Doesn't mean that, you know, some of the structures are not going to come down. They are. What no longer serves the collective and ourselves is coming down. It is. So we can move into a higher, more love frequency. So, and all the solar flares and the photon, you know, we're going through the photon belt. And so we're being lit up. You could say we're being lit up, more light. We are taking on more light in our physical bodies. And that's why you might have some physical symptoms. And so fear or love, choose love, you know, so we can all collectively go through this transition a lot easier. So do your inner work. Anything that's not serving you, February is a great time to do your shadow work and clear what no longer serves you. So that's what I have. Yaela, you're up next.
Thank you, Corey. So, of course, if you've watched any of our previous videos, I do the collective reading and I just tap into anybody who's tuning into these videos. And I just ask for guidance. Let me just tap into your all's energy really fast. And then I always like to ask for a blessing. So, creative all that is, please bring forth information and healing for anybody watching this video for their highest and best good. Please guide me. Okay, so I'm getting a couple colors for the collective energy, and when I first put up what's the collective energy, I'm seeing a really beautiful like emerald green, and then I'm also seeing kind of like a golden yellow. So let me just ask where they're bringing in those two color vibrations and what that represents. So with the yellow, it's kind of going with confidence in your journey, in your life, and what you have been working on up to this point. It's not a time to waver in your decisions. So if you're experiencing anything in your life that kind of felt like an upheaval up to this point in they're saying the last couple months, last 2 or 3 months, where the analogy they're kind of giving me is like pulling weeds out of the garden, right? So if the garden was you and the life that you're creating, if you kind of pluck some weeds, things that aren't supposed to be there, and those weeds can represent anything for you, whether it's jobs, people, habits, you know, whatever those are, you've kind of been in this plucking phase of clearing out what you don't want in your garden moving forward. And we're kind of in this clean soil, you know, rebuilding the soil type phase. And the golden yellow energy is just being confident in what you needed to clear and what you're wanting to create. And so if you're confused on what you want to be replanting, this is the time to focus on that and work on, okay, if you let some things go that weren't working for you and weren't in alignment, what would you like to plant in that place? So that's kind of the first energy. And then green for me many times either correlates to your health or correlates to relationships. And this one, it's bringing in the energies of both for you. So this is, I'm seeing this with a lot of clients and people I've been working with. You're being asked to step into kind of your own glow up period, if I could describe it, you know, for lack of a better way to describe it. But this is the time to really focus on you, mind, body, spirit. What are those things that feel good to you? How do you want to be moving your body? Where do you want your body to be? What nourishes your body, whether it's physical movement, what you're feeding it, what you're doing with it, like what really nourishes your physical body, and then what really nourishes your mind, what really nourishes your soul. This is a time to really glow up and do all those things that make you feel at your optimum level. Because this, again, they're showing me that fertile ground. What are we planting? And so when we're feeling our best, we're that magnet for what we want to show up in our life. And we're in such creative space that what we're choosing to plant will grow, because our thoughts and the world around us is what's going to help us nourish that soil. So that's kind of what they're first bringing in. When I ask, what can we watch out for, or what is helpful for us to know? Well, that's some words of encouragement. So I'm hearing you haven't been doing it wrong. So I know we can get a lot in our head, especially when energies can be strong and things feel a little bit swirly, and maybe you had to make some tough decisions on what you wanted to weed out. But what they're bringing in for you is you're not doing it wrong. Even though the world and things around us feel swirly, feel wrong, you're navigating the best you can and trusting that even if you didn't act in your highest and good, and you kind of got the information in hindsight of like, oh crap, why did I do that? Just know that it's serving a purpose for you to make better decisions moving forward. So you haven't been doing it wrong, but there is a better way. And so everything you've learned up to this point, whether it's things that did work and you want to keep feeding, or things that don't work that you want to change, just know that you have that opportunity for this month of February. And let me just ask if there's anything else for the collective. The last thing they're bringing in is you're your only limitation. So expanding on that theme of what do you actually want to be planting? Where we get stuck is we are our only limitation. What you want to put in that soil, what you want to grow, is really your choice. And so if we believe that it won't grow, we can't give it the right conditions, we don't have the right things to plant, that's really our belief, and that's how we limit ourselves. Where you're at is you're unlimited as far as what you want to plant. So learn ways to help bring in confidence, learn ways to help trust yourself more, learn ways that whatever path you are going on up to this point, you're in alignment. You're always being guided back into alignment, and trust that even if the journey has been hard, it served a purpose for you. So you are your only limit. And you're also the master of what you want to manifest, and what you want to bring in is meant for you. And so if it's in your heart, that means it's meant for you, and trust that, and just know the energy is different moving forward. It's not so much, yes, we have to take inspired action, but the energy is shifting from having to do, having to push, having to, give us the, if I just do this, kind of that old energy of like, go, 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 push, 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 be everywhere all at once, and more, eventually something's going to work out. The energy is shifting to, it's you're embodying what you want to manifest. It's connecting to your manifestations. It's believing that it's meant for you. It's believing that you're worthy of it. Your self-concept, what you believe for yourself, is really what is going to help you grow in your garden, what you want to see flourish. And so this is the month to get clear on, what does your heart really want? And you'll know that if you're honoring your body, mind, spirit. So if you're honoring those aspects of yourself and really putting yourself, your glow up first and foremost, everything else is going to align for you so much more quicker, faster, and in more of a flow. So it doesn't matter what, if it's raining, not raining, what's going on in the world, what you are planting, you will know how to flourish. There's millions of options how to make things work. So you have everything you need. Your only limitation is yourself. You are the master of your manifestations, and trust yourself and trust in the universe, God, source, whatever you like to call it, to help you create what you really want to have. So I'll leave it there. How about you, Peyton?
Thanks, guys. I always love hearing what you guys have to say and seeing how that dovetails with what the Pleiadians have for us for the month. So as y'all know, I channel the Pleiadians. And when I checked in with them recently to see what they had for us for February, they had some very interesting things. And their message was a little more encouraging than some of the messages have been recently. We know we've been going through some very heavy energies. So the first thing the Pleiadians wanted to explain to us in terms of looking at the February energies is they wanted us to understand that we have just been through a major energetic transition. And so if you are someone who, like a lot of us, have felt that the energies have been really challenging over the past maybe 2 or so weeks, what the Pleiadians said is that we have collectively collapsed an enormous timeline of fear, an enormous timeline of a collective template is the word that they like to say, which means that it is a huge blanket of energy that is laying over the entire human collective. And this one was one of fear. And we have just moved through this as a collective. So if you have felt really kind of like you've been through it the past couple of weeks, that is the energy that you are resonating with or picking up. It's that the collective was moving through a very dense layer of fear. So what that means, or why that's relevant to us, is that is the reason why we are going to experience some of the February energies the way that we do, is because we are kind of coming to the surface after a major purge. And so what they said we can expect from the energies in February are for them to be much lighter than they have been for a long time. They said what we are going to notice is that lightworkers and starseeds are going to start to feel much more confident than we have for a long time, much more empowered. And one of the reasons for that is we have moved through and released this blanket of fear. So what they said is, of course, the energies hitting the planet are going to continue to be very intense. We know that's not going away anytime soon. But what they said is going to be different is how we as lightworkers and starseeds respond to these energies. They said we can expect to have much less in the way of ascension symptoms, and we're going to actually start to process these energies as excitement, as exhilaration, instead of something that brings us to our knees. So again, the energies are still going to be strong, but we're going to handle them much better. And that's because we are holding so much more light as individuals that the energies are not going to affect us the same way they did when we had a lot more density. So that's really good news. We haven't really heard them say that, not for quite a while. So we can be looking for these energies to actually uplift us instead of knock us down. Now, a couple other things are going to result from us shifting through, dissolving this fear template. And the first they said for February is it's time for us to be our authentic selves without fear. They said in February, we are going to start to actually feel that we are fully supported by the universe. A lot of us, we know we've been taught that, we've been told that we are supported, but when you're down here in a physical body, it doesn't necessarily feel like that. But they said in February, we're going to start to actually feel the support we have from our galactic family. It's going to be much more tangible because, again, we've just moved through this huge collective blanket of fear. So we're going to start to notice things we hadn't noticed before, and our support is going to be one of those. So another thing they said for February is that this is going to be a month for us as lightworkers to embrace our sovereignty. They said it is time for us to stop hiding our light. They said, we know a lot of you lightworkers and starseeds, and they always say this with complete love, so it's never coming from judgment. They said a lot of you still have one foot in the spiritual closet. So you're still not completely out in the open being your authentic self. Again, because of the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment, And so many of us in the spiritual community can relate to that over the past couple of years, that there has been some reluctance to be fully ourselves. They said that is going to start to fall away in February. Our confidence in being ourselves is going to expand and grow. So this is a time for us to stop hiding if we are still having a tendency to do that. They also said that February is going to be a great time for light workers to really step out as leaders. They said the entire collective is following you. It doesn't seem like it, but you guys in the awakened community are leading the crowd. You're leading them energetically. And so it is time for the light workers to actually embrace our role as leaders rather than hide from it, which can be the temptation sometimes. So what the Pleiadians had to say is, the awakened community, you are the builders of the new reality. And so it is our time now to really step forward with no fear, to be our authentic self. They said what you are doing is you are teaching the way for the entire collective, even when it seems like the exact opposite. So that's one of the things that is going to be a result of this huge blanket of fear that we have finally moved through as a collective. And then the other thing that is going to be a side effect of this fear template that we have moved through is they said we're going to see it's much easier to find community as a light worker. Because one of the things that is kind of the hallmarks of the spiritual path is you can feel a little like an outsider at times, like the black sheep, like you don't quite fit in. They said there is going to be a huge increase in light worker community in February, because again, a lot of what has separated the spiritual community, the light workers, kept us from finding each other, from finding our tribe. I hear that from so many people, is we've been separated by fear. We've been separated by that blanket of fear over the collective, and that is dissolving. So this is going to be a month to really start to connect with people and find your tribe. And so the themes essentially for February, the way the Pleiadians have laid them out for us, is it is going to be a month of confidence. We are going to feel a confidence in walking our spiritual path that we've never felt before. It is a month of sovereignty. It is time to be confident in who we are and in the fact that we are here to help guide the collective. So sovereignty is going to be very big and community is going to be very big. So they said the energies in February are going to be much lighter than anything we have experienced for a very long time. So that sounds good to me because I have not heard them say that in a while. So anytime they say things are getting better, I'm in. Then they had one last kind of unrelated point for us, and that is they said that it is time for light workers to start integrating the matrix. That was their word. So what they said by that, or what they meant by that, is that the matrix that we are all so, focused on transcending, moving into 5D, they said it's all in the mind. They said you created it all. It is you. And they said, when you start to bring the energy of anything you are seeing in the world that you don't like, it is not your preference. When you start to claim that as yourself, as your creation, when you bring that into your heart and integrate the energy, they said the game ends. It is time to end the game. So that was just a little kind of random side topic that they had for us, but I thought it was really powerful to remind us that everything that we want to see change, we created it. It is us, and we can uncreate it. And they said February is a good time to start doing that. If you have not started to integrate the matrix energies, start to release that from your consciousness, it will be energetically supported in February. So that's what they had for us in February. And I love how it always seems to dovetail with what Corey and Yaila have for us. So ladies, anything else popping up? Any other thoughts or responses? Nope, we're good. Well, guys, we so appreciate you. We are so grateful that you watch these videos, that you're liking them, commenting, sharing, anything that we can do to help get these out and help anyone else who might be supported by them. So we love you guys. We thank you for tuning in. Reach out to any of the three of us if we can help you in any way. And we always want to hear your thoughts and comments. So we will see you next week. Bye.